recognise and promote the work around widening access and widening participation. I think it's a key time for us all to be coming together to put the arguments in the case and to continue to put that argument in the case through evidence, through our practice, through our work in institutions, through our work through stakeholder groups, to show and demonstrate the public benefit that actually widening participation and HE access brings to higher education and by extension brings to the government's ambitions around social mobility. So I think there's an important case to be made, and we must continue to make it to ensure that these things are in the spotlight and are a priority. Okay, I just wanted to do a few things before I hand over to our first keynote speaker. I've warmly welcomed you. We have a Christmas tree as well, which is a nice festive touch. No presents, I've checked the presents, there's no presents there. But I'm delighted to see so many people. There have been a lot of events and gatherings around higher education and access, not surprisingly, given the depth of change and reform that's been going on both in higher education and particularly in relation to opportunities to access higher education. So I'm so pleased that so many of you have taken time to come and be part of today's first annual summit to recognise, as I say, and celebrate in many ways the important work that each and every one of you have made to opportunities to widen participation. I think there's a number of purposes for having an annual summit. Apart from the fact that every time I open The Guardian, everyone else seems to be having a summit about one thing or another, why shouldn't we? But I think the serious reasons are some of these here. First of all, to come together as a partnership. I think between us, we represent a really, really important part of higher education. In fact, I think we're at the heart of the debates of higher education. It really is a crucial time to make that point and to recognise the work we do. And by having a summit, I think we find a platform, an opportunity to make our points, to make our case through the workshops, through the presentations, and through the sharing of practice and ideas that I'm sure will happen throughout today. In doing that, I think we all benefit. We generate that collective understanding of the work. We build the evidence base, which is so crucial, I think, to informing the government's thinking in this area. And we shouldn't underestimate how important that is. And I'm sure that will be a point that a number of our keynote speakers will be making throughout the day. I think the other thing that's important about having this annual event is really to, as I say, inform the agenda going forward. The white paper was quite explicit in a number of ways, but an important thing it said was it threw out a challenge, I think, to us and to the sector to build a new framework for widening participation and access to higher education, for all of us to contribute to that. And I think we need to rise to that challenge, to accept that challenge, to accept what the government's saying in the white paper, and actually confidently create that new framework, but doing so building on the strengths and the work that we've done for a number of years. And I think that's important to recognise. And I think the other thing I'd say about the need for an annual summit is that sense of partnership. When you come together in these events, I always learn much more, I think, than I contribute to these events. I think it's a great opportunity to share our practice and understanding, imperfect and developing it is, but also to raise our sights in terms of the work that needs to be done. So thank you for being part of this annual summit. I hope, as I say, it will become a fixture in the calendar, and so we continue to recognise and spotlight the important work that you're all doing and is represented by access to HE and widening participation work. Okay. The programme is in your pack, so I won't spend too much time on this, but just a couple of things to mention. Following the two keynotes, after David Rubain's spoken, we're going to have the launch of our topic briefings. Now, a number of you have said, having looked at some of the topic briefings around social mobility that we produced, wouldn't be good if they was all in one publication. So we've taken you at our word and we've produced a compilation of all those topic briefings, and we'll be launching that just before the morning break. I think you've probably found the Queen Mary Hall for lunch and so on, and the workshops are all signposted throughout the building as you leave the plenary hall. Okay. The other thing I just wanted to mention is a kind of update from Action and Access. As you know, like the higher education community at large, we live in times of change. Equally, that applies to the Action and Access team, but I'm delighted to announce this morning that as from early 2012, Action and Access will be hosted by NIAS, the National Institute of Adult and Continuing Education, and we're delighted to have that relationship with NIAS and be working closely with NIAS to develop their work around higher education, and equally to share facilities and work closely in the work that they do around adults and opening up learning opportunities to more and different learners. So I think it's a fantastic opportunity, and I think a really positive and creative relationship to work with NIAS. 2 or 3 things that we've been working on for the new programme in 2012 to create a continuing professional development framework. I think one of the things our community often suffers from is not being taken seriously in terms of having a proper professional development framework. And so we're going to set to work to provide that and offer a whole range of opportunities, drawing on people in this hall, no doubt, to provide that continuing professional framework, which I think will further develop the practice of work right across the sector. Secondly, we're going to offer a whole series of institutional reviews and development services to institutions, particularly in relation to access agreements and widening participation strategic assessments, which are increasingly an important part of the agenda going forward. Thirdly, the events and materials, and today in a sense is a good illustration of the kind of events bringing stakeholders together, the kind of events that Action Access is going to be offering in future, and the kind of materials also demonstrated by the briefings that we've recently been producing, and we'll be doing much more of that over 2012 and beyond. And finally, and I do think this is an important point, in your patch you'll see there's a pro forma, because today we're also launching our Action and Access Associates Network, which is an opportunity for you to register as one of the A&A's associates and be part of some of these things as we go forward. So just take a few minutes at some point today to fill in the pro forma which is in your pack. Don't take it away with you. Please leave it on the registration desk, and we'll add you to the growing list of A&A associates, and you can be part of those things, and we can work together, and you can help us influence and develop our programme for 2012 and beyond. So, I think just to sum up then, I think one of the great things about our community is its creativity and resilience and ability to work in all kinds of new and creative ways. And I think that will become ever important in this new environment as the reforms around higher education begin to impact on access and widening participation work. And so I think this challenge that I mentioned that the white paper presents us is a real one, and we should accept that challenge, and we should try to promote and develop widening participation as part of that new framework with all the important things that it has to bring. So I think that's all I want to say by way of introductory remarks.